Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you your pre-match pump-up as Tottenham Hotspur return to the promised land, back where we belong. Europe's elite competition, and Tottenham are back, baby. And I just want to taste some Arsenal tears as well right now. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, that is good. That is tasty. I mean, they must be sitting at home absolutely sick. You know, they're doing a preview to Timbuktu FC, and we're sitting here talking about the elite tier of European football. And today we are joined by, of course, Dermotron and Kuva. Dermotron, how are you keeping, my man?
I am doing fine. I am revved up, ready to go. Bill Nick's going through me. The 60s European sides, the 70s side, the 80s side. I am buzzing. I can feel it all going through my veins. Spurs are on the mighty Spurs on another road to European glory.
I love it. Me and Dermot were sitting in the backstage listening to the Champions League song. We listened to it twice. You know, it's just flowing through me right now. I feel good.
Can I just say, Dave, that is better than having you know what. That music is better than anything.
Honestly, you know, I was just flowing through my veins. I just got this sudden burst of energy. It just felt like I belong there, you know? Felt like I belong. But Kuva, how are you feeling, my man?
Worn out already. Been cooking for the kids. I had to do double lot of spaghetti bolognese to make sure there's no interruptions when the match is on. If they want more, there's plenty. So, I'm really looking forward to it. Champions League football. This is what all the hard effort from last season was all about. Getting into this championship. It was just it's just special. You're right. The music sets the tone. It gets the heart racing. Absolutely love it. For some reason, I keep hearing Kyle Walker trying to sing along to it. You remember when he did that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something about it. It gets to the players as well, doesn't it? I mean, it's a huge occasion. Bring it on.
Oh, I can't wait. It also gets the blood flowing down in places where only the missus usually can get that flowing. So I'm absolutely buzzing. Who would have thought a bit of classical music could do that to somebody? I mean, it's just amazing. Just like these tears. I'm absolutely enjoying these Gooner tears.
I think you're wrong there, Dave. You're wrong there, Dave. Lucas can't aid them.
Them tears warm me up. Honestly, it's like having a hot whiskey. It's absolutely fantastic. But look, we will welcome a few people in. All those eager beavers who's in here to join us with the excitement for today. Let's welcome them in and let's get talking about Champions League football. Arsenal, you can't say that. And Thomas the Tank Engine sacked this morning. Absolutely brilliant. It's a good start. And they lost last night to Zagreb, which was fantastic. Orsic, the guy who scored a hat-trick against us, beating them. Absolutely loving life. T. Isaac, good to see you, my man. Georgie Hill, our Lily Whites are back. Where they belong, lads. Can't wait for today. We should be rolling out over Marseille today, given we're home and all the missing players. Those baguette lovers have. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking about running down the shop and getting a baguette and just start punching it live on air. But I said, look, maybe that's a bit too far. So I stuck with frog legs and snails instead. Big up, Bobby K. Hope you're keeping well. Good to see you, brother. Hopefully you and the two boys are excited. Mick Hermlock, great to see you. Good afternoon, my man. Same as Mark. Great to see you, brother. Lynchy616 in the building. Evening all. Had fun today trolling Chelsea. Absolutely love that, my man. Stick it to them every time you can. Dax OG, big up, brother. Really appreciate the support. He says it's been a good week so far. Liverpool draw with Everton, Zagreb beating the Blues, and Tuchel getting the sack. All we need now is a win today and versus City. I mean, look, it's been a very good week. I mean, look, Jurgen Klopp's in his 7th year. Whatever it is about the 7th year, it does not go well for him. It was the same at Dortmund. So Liverpool could be in big trouble this year. The Blues, look, they're in major trouble now. I mean, they sacked the manager after the transfer window, who they bought players for his system and stuff. So they're left stuck going for Harry Potter. So let's see whether he can turn Expelliarmus goals, which is his XG, because Brighton don't score goals, into actually something a bit more fruitful. And it's just great to see them get the sack. But you know what? I feel confident tonight, Dark Sun G. You know, it's just seeing Tottenham in that all-white kit, you know. Champions League, Kane wants to be back in the big time. This is where he belongs. He's got an incredible record. Sonny, no doubt, will take his game to a new level tonight. Højbjerg, pinning up a few of them players. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. I feel good. I'm feeling confident. And you know what? City on the weekend will be a entirely different proposition than before. Before, we could show them out wide and cross the ball, but we can't do that this time with Haaland because he will punish you. So, he's not going to be as easy this time round, but we'll wait and see. Just get tonight over and done with. We're back where we belong, brother. Big yourself up, Dark Song G. The Hotspur says the all-white kit is supreme. We should have it all the time. Absolutely. We'll talk about that in a minute, my man. Catman says, Jess is ready to go. Absolutely love that. Foggy Foam, great to see you. He says, I can't wait to see the boys in action. Solid opening win needed. I could not agree more. Pierre Oji says, happy match day, everyone. Champions League, come on. Absolutely love that. We've got Paul Harris Jr. Big up, my man. I don't know if you're any relation to me. Let me know, lad. All these Harrises seem to be coming out the woodwork since I started this. I need to find out what my father was up to. I'll have to have an interrogation with him later on. But big up, Paul Harris Jr. Hope you're keeping well. And we've also got Dude says, come on, you Spurs. Spaghetti Slayer, big yourself up. TZ, great to see you in the building, my man. Hennessy, we're going to need some of that after we win tonight. Big yourself up. We've got Akash in the house as well. It'll be a close match, I predict. And they are second in their league. Yeah, look, they're not bad. They're on form, but yeah, look, we should be beating them if I'm being quite frankly honest. Big up, Rooty Tooty. Good to see you. Move the sofa out so I can hide behind it. Nah, no need, my man. Not tonight. Big up, Kai Ballock. Big up, Wembley 1 as well. Big up, Ryan. Great to see you in the building, my man. Dark Sun G also says, Blues doomed because new manager has no time to put his tactics to his players because of the World Cup coming up. Blues 8 at highest and 12 at the lowest, in my opinion. I mean, look, Kuva, we'll get your quick thoughts on this, my man, and then we'll start moving into everything everyone needs to know.
I think I would have preferred him to stay, Tuchel. I mean, they're doing badly. Depends who they get in, doesn't it? A lot of talk about Graham Potter going there. I think they got permission to talk to him. I think he's one of the most underrated managers in the league. He'll do well for them if he goes there, unfortunately. Is there time to turn it around to save this season in terms of the league? New manager Banks, he's capable of doing it. I'm a little bit more concerned than if he had stayed, to be honest.
Yeah.
At least we knew what was happening.
Yeah, true.
It's funny, though. At least they're in disarray. That's always a good thing. As for 8th to 12th, I actually think they've got a lot of quality in the squad still. They did buy some good players in. They haven't performed. That's the thing. Like I said, new manager Bounce, he might get something out of them. They could be a danger. They might not be as well. It's the unknown, isn't it? So adds a little bit more spice to things, doesn't it? Because that's one of our main rivals, you would have thought.
Yeah, adds some spice to it. All right, look, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Chelsea. I mean, Dermot, what's your quick thoughts, my man?
Look, can we just sit here and laugh at them? For all the years they've laughed at us, just sit here and laugh. And point your fingers. It's like point your fingers at somebody falling over at school when you were a kid and you just laugh. Let's point to Chelsea and laugh. And just go, ha, ha.
Love it. Thomas the Tank Engine, I'd see where he goes next. But, you could kind of see it coming. The body language on the bench for him yesterday wasn't great. Players' performances have dipped no matter what anybody says as well. So it was going to happen. But big up, Dark Sun G, brother. Really appreciate support.
Brendan Rodgers next, you would have thought. Because there's another team that's carrying it on from last season. They weren't good for halfway through last season.
That's only a matter of time. That's only a matter of time for sure. Yeah. Even West Ham could be another one as well. We'll wait and see. But big up, Dark Sun G, brother. Really appreciate support, my man. Big up, Ollie. Hope you're keeping well, my man. Driving home from work. Good to see you in the building. Big up, Jay Keaveney. Big up, Jeannie as well. Big up, Brian Seasock. He's watching Tottenham on a Wednesday night. It doesn't get better than this. Big up, Dave Dermot and Cuba and all the flat cap army. Come on, you Spurs. Hopefully you get to enjoy the game today, Brian. Big yourself up, my man, and I hope you're keeping well, lad. Just a couple of quick things. I want to say a massive thank you to you guys out there for all the well wishes to me and my family with what was going on with my sister over the weekend. Really, really touched my heart. So I really appreciate all of that. She is all good now. So, long may that continue. And also shout out to Mr. Brady, who usually does all these pre-match build-ups with us, with herself and Kuva. He's actually in hospital getting a kidney stone out today. So, big up Philip, and hopefully you're doing well, my man. Big yourself up.
Big up,
look, I'm going to get into tell everybody everything they need to know. and then we will crack on. So, of course, guys, we are home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which there will be a light show before kickoff tonight. So that should be interesting. That should be actually cool to watch. Kickoff, of course, it does start at 8 p.m. tonight. Back on Wednesday nights, back in Champions League, back on night football under the lights. I cannot wait. Referee is Slavko Vincic from Slovenia. So hopefully he knows what VAR means and what it does. Hopefully they can get a better grip of it.
You're breaking up quite a bit at the moment, David.
Yeah, you are, Dave.
Really stuttering all of it.
Okay, you guys just talk. I'll give you something, man, and I'll come out. I'll come back in. Adrian Jesus, big up, lads. Conte broke through with the handshake.
Right, Coover. Do you feel the 65s and the 70s and 80s? You've seen it in the 70s and especially the 80s, Coover. This is great to be back in Champions League football, isn't it?
I wasn't born in the 60s, too young in the 70s, but I do remember the 80s all right. And that was some great stuff. European football is what this club's all about. Or it should be. We've been sadly underperforming a long time since those glory nights in the 80s.
But
a couple of FA Cups,
but something in it, Coover, under the lights, European nights, just that music, it just gets everything going, doesn't it? You just feel the Bielnik spirit go through you, and you just feel, look, we're unbeatable. We've reached the final before. Can we do it again under Conte? For me, he has to win a European trophy to be probably a great manager to match Birkinshaw and Bielnik. What do you agree with that?
Yeah, let's do it as well. It can go with the collection of the other 3 trophies this season. Why not? I mean, let's face it, it's the pinnacle of playing matches now. Champions League's the best of the best. There's no getting away from that. So as soon as we start, we've got to assume we're going to get out of this group stage. We've got to try and win these home games, pick up a couple of points on the road. It should be easy sailing into the next round where it's the knockout time, and then anything can happen. So you never know. It's fun being the underdogs because nobody expects you to win. We will certainly be underdogs here.
We just need to laugh at the other lot down the road. We just need to sit there for 2 minutes before the game tonight. Sit there, sit back, have your bit of Arsenal tears and laugh at them. You go, ha ha.
Love it. Big up, Adrian. Cheer. Really appreciate support. Do I sound better, lads?
Little bit dodgy on the video, but can hear you a lot better.
Yeah, we can hear you a lot better.
We'll roll with that. So big up, Adrian. Cheer, my man. Really appreciate the support. He couldn't handle the two.
Doing it again.
Okay.
It's happening again.
Okay. I'll give you this one here from Moondog. He's going 2-0 to us tonight. I'm not worried about at all. The question is, who do I bet on? So, guys, give him a big bet. I'll be back. I don't know what's going on.
Right, go on, Dermot. Moondog usually likes to bet on Eric Dyer. He switched to it being Højbjerg recently. Who's your bet for tonight, scorer?
I'm going for Højbjerg. I'm going for Højbjerg first goal. So that's my thing for you, Moondog. What do you reckon, Coof?
Yeah, I've got a feeling on Paratici tonight as well. But I'm going for the outrageous 5-2 win anyway. So I'm going Sonny getting a couple of goals, Paratici, one for Richarlison, and then Kane will wrap it all up with his customary goal in European competition because he's going to be breaking records one way or another. Forget Haaland, we got Kane.
Yeah, the Lynch 616 said he was there versus Anderlecht. That memorable night in 1984.
Yeah,
you were there as well, if I remember, Cooper. I was. Were your dad?
Yeah. Got the day off. I think I vaguely remember there was supposed to be school or something like that, and I didn't go. And it was the first time my dad let me have a bit of beer with him.
Yeah, because it was a special night. No, we'll keep that a bit shut.
Yeah.
And also, you were snogging some girl apparently. You're telling me, but we won't say nothing about that. I
was. The girl standing next to me turned around at full time. I think she was about 13 or 14. I was just coming up to 13, and she just planted one on me as soon as Tony Parker scored the penalty. And that's like, been in love with her ever since. What can I say? I don't even know her name.
Maybe we can do This Is Your Life, Coover. The girl you haven't seen since 1984. Here she is. That
could be interesting.
Yeah.
Never mind. Hope she's doing well anyway. Hopefully, she'll have reason to plant a smacker on somebody else this season. But Champions League's a big ask, isn't it?
Do you know what, Coof? I think we can do it. I honestly think we can reach the quarterfinals, and we've got to thank Harry Redknapp for taking us there first. He deserves a big thank you. He took us to the promised land. Poch nearly took us all the way to the promised land. Conte will do it. I mean, and the boss is back. So back over to the boss man.
How am I sounding now? Any better, lads?
Yes. Much.
Thanks for that. Thank you. So big up Moondog, my man. Look, 2-0 for us. Who do you bet on? Harry Kane. Incredible record on European nights. He lives for Champions League. You've got to back Harry Kane tonight, my man. Put money on him to score. Big up Moondog. Good to see you in the building. We've got Tim Man 007. He says, "Oh, what a night. Watching Tottenham on a Wednesday night. You play Thursday because you're fucking shy. What a feeling, what a night." Big up Tim Man 007. Good to see you in the building, my man. And then we'll take this from Dark Sun G, and then we will crack into it now that hopefully I am sounding a bit better. Dark Sun G says, Richarlison, Pierre, and Højbjerg presume deserve to play in the Champions League, which they are finally playing. Also, Son, Kane, Kulu, and Cutie Romero, Bentancur, Lloris, Skip returns to where they belong. I mean, Kuva, Champions League, it is where this great club belongs, though, isn't it? Great European nights, even dating back to the great Bill Nick, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, this is what we strive for. When European competition is available, you've got to do everything you can to seize the opportunity and just enjoy it. Let's not worry so much about too much about how the group's shaping up or anything like that, or what we're planning to do with the rest of the matches. Just enjoy the occasion. It's being back, floodlights make it extra special. I think it's something about the stadium at night. It's just awesome atmosphere. I think the place is going to be absolutely rocking, and I think our home crowd are just going to inspire the team. The 12th man coming into it, and I just think it's going to be fun times tonight. Marseille are obviously doing fairly well in terms of form and everything, but let's face it, we got Sonny, we got Kane, we got Kulusevski, Richarlison's looking good when he's come in. We got a World Cup winner at the back in Lloris. We got Romero, who's turning out to be one of the best defenders we've signed in decades. Longley coming in, doing a great job. Basuma hasn't hit the ground running yet, but he will. He's a class act. And meanwhile, Højbjerg, Bentancur, back to putting in the performances we expect from them. We're getting a bit more possession, looking better at the back. I think Skippy's a good return as well. Is he going to get a bit of game time tonight? He may do, because we've got big games this week, haven't we? This is what it's all about. No point shying away from the likes of this. Let's just get into it. Enjoy it for what it's worth. I'm not going to worry about either game. It's fun. This is what we want to be seeing, isn't it?
Exactly. Look, this is where we want to be. This is also where a lot of our players want to be. They've been crying about it the last few years. So go in there tonight, enjoy it. No need to be nervous. Use that excitement. Go out there, play your football. You're back on the big stage. Make sure you're doing all the basics correctly. And you'll be fine. Look, this is what us fans. This is where we want to be. And I've no doubt, like Kuva was saying, it's going to be an absolute incredible atmosphere tonight. They're encouraging people to get into the bar early in the concourse. They're encouraging people to be out there, especially in the South Stand before the game, singing and getting the flags out and everything else. The light show going on as well before the game. Tonight is going to be absolutely incredible. If you remember the midweek game, we had the Thursday night game against Arsenal last season, we absolutely... the atmosphere was absolutely incredible, and I think it's going to be a noisy place tonight. And hopefully, the fans are in there early when the Marseille team are walking through the stadium and they get on their backs early booing them, because that really did intimidate Arsenal before they got here. But big up Darkstone, brother. Really appreciate the support. So as I was saying, guys, referee is Slavko Vincic from Slovenia, and in the VAR room it's Bastian Dankert from Germany. So hopefully they know how to actually use VAR, unlike the Premier League referees. you want to watch the game tonight, it is on BT Sport for people in the UK and Ireland, and Paramount Plus for the people in the USA. And of course, you can join us back here for the watch on at 7:30 tonight if you want to tune in with us. Tottenham, of course, missing Lucas Moura today, and that's the only really injury concern. And then Marseille, Alexis Sanchez, the ex-Gooner, he's out with suspension. And attacking duo Cedric Bakambu and Bamba Dieng have been left out of Marseille's Champions League squad, so will not be anywhere near it today. I mean, Dermot, we're back in the Champions League for the first time since 2019. How does it feel to be back?
It feels like you're back home. It's back where we belong. A club like Tottenham Hotspur needs to be in the top competitions. As Bill Nick says, if we're not in the top competition in Europe, we're nothing. And we're back where we belong. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's like Christmas Day. Coming down, open up your presents, and there in front of you is the European Cup. Something that we will win. So I'm buzzing. I can't wait. I'm bouncing.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing.
You've got the scarf out. It's a special occasion when you're wearing the scarf at the end of summer, my man. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. There it is. There's the mighty cockerel. The mighty cockerel.
I love it. And Kuva, you were talking about that atmosphere tonight. How special will it be under the European lights, especially wearing our all lily white kit? And for people who don't know, that tradition extends back to our first ever competitive European tie back in 1961, when the great Bill Nick introduced the lily white strip for an 8-1 triumph over Polish side Górnik Zabrze. I mean, Kuva, all white lily white kit. I mean, it's going to be a sight to behold, isn't it?
Absolutely. Whereas it's just got such it's a revered sort of strip, really, isn't it? I mean, the mighty Real Madrid sporting it for so many years, and they have been the pinnacle of European competition over the years, without doubt. You have to admire their achievements for so many years. So often they are the champions of Europe. Leeds were inspired by it as well, and obviously with us wearing it, it's some of our greatest times as well. So we do call ourselves the Lady Whites. So when we are in an all-white strip, love it. It's just something. It's striking on the eye, isn't it? Especially with a nighttime game. Mm-hmm. You can get the contrast of the night, the darkness, dark in the stands, and the nighttime sky. Little flash of the light, catching the white, and just seeing some of our heroes out there on the pitch. Biggest competition. Let's have it. Just cannot wait. Usually, I'll get a bit nervous for games. A sort of tingly sensation in the stomach. It's a good nervous. This time, no, I just can't wait for it to start. Cannot come quick enough.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's so exciting to be back in the big time. I mean, the last 2 years, look, I get excited for Europa League and Europa Conference League. I'll take any sort of Europe I can if it's not Champions League. But it does not compare to nights like tonight, back in the big time. But Dermot, Lynchy616 here says the fans have to set the tone of the game tonight. Remember, if you're going to the game, if you have a voice on the way home, you didn't do enough. Come on, you Spurs. Do you think he has a point there about the fans setting the tone? Because, Tottenham have asked them to get in there early, and along with numerous of other people have asked everybody to get down and in there early.
Yeah, the crowd can be our 12th man. They could be the one that could just suck that ball into the net if we're going through a bad patch, to pick the players up again. That's so important. And look, we can do it. We did against Arsenal. We've done it on many European nights. The crowd have always got Tottenham through. I have no doubt tonight is going to be rocking. That stadium's going to be rocking to its foundations. And I wish I was there. I wish I was really there.
On the lily white kit, lad. The all white, beautiful.
It is, Dave, as Cooper says, but it's back to the 60s, and you can remember Jimmy Greaves and John White and Danny Blanchflower and then Martin Shivers. And, then you got Garth Crooks and Glenn Hoddle in the 80s. And it just brings back memories. And I don't know, but I just feel Bill Nick going through me now tonight. And I just feel, what would he be saying to the players? Go out there, enjoy it. But all you do, win.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Dermot, what's your favourite Champions League memory involving Tottenham down the years?
I know everyone says Ajax when we got to the final. I think for me it was Inter Milan when Gareth Bale scored that hat-trick for me under Harry Redknapp. For me, that for me was a great night for me. But that's my favourite. Ajax comes close, but I think that Gareth Bale hat trick that announced him on the world stage. For me, that's my favourite night.
Love it. And Kuva, what's your favourite European night? In Tottenham's involving Tottenham.
I suppose you can't ignore the Ajax game, can you? It was just so incredible for drama. But we weren't that good in that game, to be fair. So for me, I actually I'll agree with the Inter Milan game. But I look at the pair of the games because Bale in both games destroyed Maicon. There was the world's best apparently, and it was that second game in particular, the home leg when. 3-1 win, wasn't it? If I remember rightly. Of course I remember rightly. It's 3-1 win, and Bale at it again, and he was skinning Maicon. Some of the things he nearly got away with as well, like right on the byline, well, not on the byline, at the goal line, putting the ball round one side of the player, running round the other to get it. It's like the sort of thing you do when you're dad and lad playing football. That's it. He was making it look so easy. We were ripping them apart. Place was absolutely buzzing. We were going in like packs of wolves, chasing everything down. There was just this really good feel-good factor about everything at the club at that point. And I'm just looking forward to that kind of atmosphere again. What I want tonight, as people are mentioning already, the crowd want to make it. Let's not be too friendly about this. It's not just about bigging up our team. It's about being bloody hostile to the opposition. Do not let them settle. Think they got an easy game. You want to be baying at them like packs of dogs when they're coming through the tunnel. They've got to know they're in for a rough ride, not just from the team but from the fans as well. Just get that atmosphere absolutely electric. So good hatred. It's that football in tribal with us. It's the that sort of sense of occasion. They've got to go. They've got to draw blood to get anything out of this game.
Yeah, no, we do. And look, the stadium is built for it. It's a bit like what Dark Song G says here. The stadium was built for Champions League, like it's not Europa or below. And I couldn't agree more. But it's even the way they set it up. That when opposing teams come here, they have to get out the bus at the far side and walk along the pitch in front of the fans to get into the changing room. That's the time to get at them. Look, we go across Europe. We get hostile atmospheres absolutely everywhere we go. Let's replicate that at the Hotspur Stadium. Let's not make it a nice place to come. We don't want people coming here, the opposite fans for a sightseeing tour, bigging up our stadium, and then competing with us on the pitch. We want to make it hostile. We want to make it a place where they don't want to come, where they hate coming here, where they know every time they come here, they're going to be in the game. And that's got to start tonight. It's got to start today under Antonio Conte. Lay down the marker on the pitch and in the stands, and everybody else at home. Let's bloody go. Come on. Absolutely love it, Dark Song G. Big yourself up, brother. Dermot, Tottenham head into this game in good form, having not lost yet this season. Can we replicate that form into the Champions League, or is it a step up above?
I think we can. I don't think it's any different. Okay, it's just a different opponent from a different country. But we should take that, what we're doing in the league, into the Champions League. Confidence breeds confidence. So I can't see there being any problem or any shape or we shouldn't go into this not confident. So I think what we're doing in the league will breed into the Champions League. I can't see them being any different there.
Yeah, for me, I think there's no reason why we can't replicate it. I mean, I was looking at the rankings of some of the European sides that we're playing. One of them is in around where Man United are. I think that's Sporting. One of them's in around where Palace are. Sort of levels to the Premier League. So, look, I think that we definitely in the group stage, we can replicate it. But I think once we get out the group stage, we will have to go again in January, in my opinion. But it's about getting out of this group stage. But we've got to get out. We've got to start with a win tonight. Kuva, Antonio Conte and Fabio Paratici, look, they did work hard over the summer to try and bolster Spurs' squad for the Champions League. Do you think we have a squad good enough to compete and go deep into this competition?
No. Simple as that.
Yeah,
I think the first 11 we can do a reasonable job on there, but there's not the quality with the depth. It's we are lacking some of those positions. We don't want to go back into the transfer window talk again, but we do have limitations. A couple of injuries, and we're completely out of the running. Depends who it happens to. It's going to be a very, very hard time before the transfer window again. We are a few players short. We haven't really replaced everything that's gone out, because a lot of we've gone out, replaced some with players that aren't playing again. We're weak in some positions, but we knew this already. True, we couldn't replace everybody in one window, but I think this is going to show, this competition above all else will show where we're really coming unstuck with that. The bad transfer windows we've had in the past is all coming back to haunt us now.
Do you think we even have enough to get through the group stage and then maybe, go again in January?
Certainly hope so.
Yes.
Like I said, if I'll start in 11, I've got no worries about that at all. It's what happens if the likes of Romero and Longley are injured again. It doesn't look so rosy all of a sudden, does it? If something happens to Harry Kane, we've got Richarlison step in. Then who comes in as a reserve? And steps up and comes off the bench to change things up. We're back at the hoping Lucas Moura can do things. It's he hasn't got Ajax in him every week, unfortunately, has he? We'll see. We're going to be really tested. Going to be stretched to the limit. I've got to believe, haven't we? We just hold it together, get it done. It's going to be a tough old ride, though.
It is. But you know what? I look at that group. I think, funny enough, if our league fixtures are hard enough on the weekend, bar tonight, I think you'll be okay with like a Davinson Sanchez and a Davies. It's not ideal, but I think you could rotate maybe a small bit against Frankfurt, maybe a small bit against the likes of Sporting, and have enough to get by. Be interested to see how Conte manages the rotation. But I look at that group. I think we should have enough to get out of it. But I do think, once you get into the knockouts and you're coming up against the likes of Bayerns, the PSGs, the Madrids and stuff like that, we will have to look to go again in January and maybe bolster, the squad a little bit more. But look, we'll wait and see what happens in January. Daxon G says, I also want Napoli to beat Liverpool today with Kim Min-jae to score a massive header while we hammer the team filled with former Gooners. Conte deserves to play Champions League with us after bringing us from the Conference League to the Champions League. Look, I wish Liverpool to lose every week, Daxon G, so I'm with that. But I know your dad won't be happy. But I know you'll be buzzing to see Kim Min-jae score. Look, tonight with the Gooners, it is a bit of a North London derby feel to it. They've got four Gooners on the panel, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of smoke they try to come with. But they'll probably end up suffering the same fate that they suffered at our stadium at the end of last season, if I'm being quite honest with you, Daxon G. They'll be nervous, there'll be trepidation, and ultimately we'll beat them before they even walk on the pitch. But for Antonio Conte, he does not have a good record in Europe, by the way. He's a very, very poor record in the Champions League. I think the furthest he made it was the Champions League quarter-final against Juve with Juve in 2013. I think he's made it to the last 16, but a lot of times he struggles to get out of group stages. So, we'll be interested to see how Conte manages it. And plus, when he has 4 or less days to prepare for games, the results start to take a dip as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again this time, Daxon G. But big yourself up, brother. Really appreciate the support, my man. Daxon G says, is it true that Davies is now homegrown in the Champions League? Yeah, they gave a special dispensation yesterday or the day before, so now he qualifies as homegrown in the Champions League. So we do not need to worry about that, my man, which means we can probably register a full squad now. Big yourself up, brother. Which we have registered a full squad, sorry. And Adrian Tree says...
About time 2, really, isn't it? That was a ridiculous rule before.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. It's a joke. Even the likes of Dyer, he plays for England. He's represented. He's got international caps, and he counts as foreign. It's absolutely shambolic. It's a joke, is what it is. Adrian Tree says, Conte, €100 restaurant with only a €10 in his pocket. So that's what he says with Conte, basically. He's going into a €100 restaurant with only €10 in his pocket. I mean, Cooper, would you agree with that? Not a bad analogy, to be fair.
Yeah, it's pretty much the state of things, I think. But order wisely. That's all we got to do, isn't it? Make them breadsticks last.
I just want to add to that, Dave. Look, everyone says the squad's like we need for improvement. We'll probably all agree on that. but for commitment, for passion, for going out there with their chests pumped out, with them wanting to do their best for the club, playing for the badge. You can't say nothing against that. Commitment, I think we've got a squad full of passion in that.
Let me ask you this, Darmit. Do you think our current squad is better than the one that reached the final in 2019? I'm talking about the one because, like, you know, when Yama and Dembele barely participated in the Champions League that season, we had Winks and Sissoko in the middle, but we still had the likes of Yobi and Toby and Jan at the back. So do you think our current squad now is better than the one we had in 2019?
Do you know what? People are probably going to shoot me down in flames, but I'm going to go say yes. I think it is a better squad than the one that we reached the final with. I think we've got better players. Kane's matured. We've got Son. We've got Kubiceski. We've got Romero. We've got Longley. We've got Herbier and Bentancur and Basuma in the midfield. I think it's a better whole squad than the 2019 team. But, you know, that's my opinion. So, yeah, I think it is a better team.
Kuva, do you think we have a better squad than what we did in 2019 when we reached the final against Liverpool?
It's difficult because on paper back then we had a great team, but they were losing form at that point. Dele Alli wasn't the same player he was in previous years. Ericsson was starting to go off the boil a bit. But you look at, I'll just look at the likes of Alderweireld and Vertonghen in the squad, Trippier at right back. There's improvements there. And we still had Harry Kane. It's a difficult one. We had Wanyama still back then, but he was again, you know, he was getting injury prone at that point, wasn't he? We were good, but still lacking just that little bit, weren't we? It seems to be the story of the last 20 years. Just that player here and there could have made all the difference. Kind of like where we're at right now as well, I think. I'd go with the squad back then, just shading it over here, just because we did have the likes of Dembele, Wanyama, Toby and Jan. Can't underestimate how good they were for us.
Do you know what? I'm a bit torn on this. I tried to weigh it up. I think, look, the one in 2019 was probably a bit better, if I'm being honest. But, you know, with Tottenham, we rode our luck in that Champions League as well. Can't forget that. We got out of the group last game of the season, last game of the group with a favour as well. You know, got lucky against Man City with the VAR. You know, pulled one of the most remarkable comebacks in Europe in a semi-final against Ajax. We rode our luck an awful lot of that campaign. But this time round, I would say I think we've got a stronger mentality. I think we've got a better mentality. Now, you know, how much of a difference can that make up in terms of the quality we had in 2019? I'm not so sure, but I have a sneaky suspicion about us going into this one. You know, I really do. I think we might surprise a few teams. Maybe that's just the Spurs fan in me, but I genuinely do believe it. You know, I really do. But look, guys, let's get into talking about rotation. I'll come back to some of the other questions I had about Conte and his record and stuff. But Conte did make 5 changes for the Fulham game. And with rotation comes good headaches. Many are expecting Conte to bring the likes of Ben Davies, Perisic, Kulusevski back into the starting lineup. I've seen that all over the tabloids over the last few days after they were wrestled against Fulham. So let's start with Clement Lenglet. Kuva, Lenglet was praised for his performance at the weekend. And given his Champions League experience, should he keep his place in the 11 today over Ben Davies?
100% yes. He's just a better player, better at everything. Full stop.
I agree.
Don't really need to explain any more than that. I mean, he's just so much better on the ball for a start. That's the key bit for me. We've been so poor building from the back, and when Conte wants us to play out from the back, you've got to have quality players in there. We've seen how badly it can come apart when they're not there. Longley, Romero, got to start every match when they're fit. They've had, don't forget as well, they've not been playing matches, so it's not like they're going to have a fatigue issue. We've got no problem playing with them the next few games in a row. Just give them a rest if they need it in some of the littler matches. Well, littler matches. I'd say the likes of Bournemouth or something like that. But yeah, these big games, you surely got to have your best squad out.
Yeah.
We cannot possibly afford to drop points tonight. That'll be an absolute catastrophe if we do that. Although you could argue that if we drop points tonight and then win at City, we've probably done all right. But you wouldn't want to rely on that.
But with 2 away games, Kuva, I think it's Frankfurt and Sporting, to round off the first round of games in this Champions League. It is important today to get off with 3 points. It is, isn't it? Very important.
Of course it is. You don't want to be chasing games, especially when you're going away from home. So I'd like to think we win tonight and then pick up a win and a draw in those 2 away games. That would be brilliant. We'd be in such a strong position then.
Yeah.
Let's just have the best team out, play some good football, as we were doing against Fulham, and take our chances, because we were very wasteful. If we take our chances, we can smack a team for 4 or 5 easily. I've been with you, one of them. So let's have it tonight.
Tonight could be the night.
Back on form and on for a brace.
I love that. Absolutely. Stop it, Kuva. It's illegal. It's not even 5 o'clock yet, and my adrenaline's through the roof because of you. That's illegal. But look, for me, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say I told y'all, but I did. People are getting on to me about my criticisms, or actually, no, I won't say criticism. I'd say critiques of Ben Davies and Sanchez. Now, I had to wait to watch the Fulham game because of circumstances. But when I watched it, I mean, I just sat there with a constant hard on. I'm just like, look how much better we are, in terms of possession. Look how much better we are building up from the back. Look how much better Højbjerg and Bentancur look with space and time on the ball. Look how much better our wing-backs look. Look how much more chances we're creating. And I keep saying this. When you dominate possession or when you keep possession, it alleviates the pressure on the back line. It alleviates the pressure on the midfield. When you also have players that can pass out from the back, it means teams don't have time to push right up, go man for man, and leave you with no options but a long ball, with players who can't play that long ball anyway, let alone try and play a 5-yard ball. So hopefully now everyone understands why I've been on Dyer's back, Davies' back, Sanchez's back for the last year and a half, because I could see it. We're so sloppy and erratic on the ball at times. Go back and watch the West Ham game and then the Fulham one straight after it, and you'll see exactly what Romero and Lenglet bring. People were blaming Højbjerg and Bentancur for the likes of Sanchez and Davies for being shit on the ball. Oh, the midfield aren't getting on the ball. I mean, they can offer all they want, but if the guys can't give it into them, what do you want these guys to do? So I'm just so grateful that Lenglet and Romero stepped in and showed absolutely everybody what ball playing centre-backs and how much we can transform this team. We're slowly getting back to where we were under Jan and Toby, who I could run with the ball, pin it 40 yards, pin it 10 yards. It does not matter. They had unbelievable passing. So I'm absolutely buzzing. But Dermo, what does Romero and Lenglet offer that Sanchez and Davies don't? I probably pretty much explained it, but I want to hear it again because, I was right all along.
You were. I mean, I was saying it as well for a while. You got 2 defenders that can play the ball out and take the pressure off the midfield. With David and Sanchez, the pressure was on the midfield and they were rushed into it. With Romero and Lenglet, they bring it out. You saw it against Fulham. Bring it out, give it to Højbjerg or Bentancur. They got time. They look around, attack. Where do we go from here? And it was quick. Defense, midfield, attack. And that's what we need. And with Davis and Sanchez, you don't get that. You get hiding behind your sofa, biting your nails, pulling your hair out, shouting at the TV, getting yourself pains everywhere because you're frustrated. With them 2 in defence, it was like sitting back, enjoying your football. We need to start with them tonight. And I know you've been saying it for a while, Dave. I've been saying it for a while. We need centre backs that can play, that can bring it down and bring it out. It takes the pressure off the midfield. Then they can relax and do their job as well.
The thing is, someone like Davies and Sanchez were useful back in 2012. You know what I mean? But they're just not useful anymore. In modern day football, you've got to be able to handle the ball. You've got to be good on the ball. The reason why teams either press us or leave that back line with the ball and press up and mark everybody else ahead of that back line is because they know how erratic that back line is. It's only a matter of time before they pass themselves into trouble or just kick you the ball straight back. With Romero and Lenglet, Fulham were forced not to press us. They had to sit off at times because they were so good on the ball. And I know people are going to say, Romero had a shocker, Dave. If that was Sanchez, you'd get on his back. Yeah, I would. Because Sanchez has been here for 5 years and still puts in them games. Romero's only back from an injury. But Romero's so much better on the ball than Sanchez. Forgive 1 or 2 of his defensive mistakes over the course of a season. Because even though he makes 1 or 2, they're going to be a lot less than what Sanchez will make over the course of the season. So hopefully now we can stop, going forward with this whole Sanchez and Davies things and just admit they're not good enough on the football, and come the end of the season, they need to be upgraded on. But big up, everybody. Great conversation on the centre-backs, and it eases my mind because now I can actually watch players play football rather than trying to play football at a professional level, which they shouldn't be trying. They should already know how to do. Dark Zone G says, next week, since it's Sporting away and Leicester at home, I think we should go full force this week and against Sporting and rotate against Foxes. Couldn't agree more. I think next week is the week where you could probably get away with a bit of rotation more so. I think we'd be okay to rotate against Sporting, and I think we'd be okay to rotate against Leicester as well, if I'm being quite honest. No, they're not in the best of forms. They got slapped up by Brighton at the weekend, and they're only waiting. Them players they're only waiting to get Rodgers sacked. They're not playing for him. They're waiting to get him sacked. So for me, I think next week you can afford a lot of rotation. This week you got to try and go as strong as you can, Dark Zone G. Beat yourself up, brother. He also says, David, what do you think about Pierre-Emile Højbjerg's goal against Fulham? His link up between Richie and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg looks easy to do, but is really hard to do and control. Yeah, Pierre-Emile Brickhouse Salzburg. I mean, again, I don't want to say it, but I did tell you so too. It's hard having so many of these truth bombs come true in the matter of it. And it's the one game I missed as well. You best believe if I was sitting there on that panel for that game, I would have sat there rubbing it in. Look, I get people's frustrations with Højbjerg. Let's stop this nonsense that he cannot play. He's shown over the last, especially the start of this season, he's improved in terms of his ability on the ball. And that link-up goal with Richarlison showed it all. But the reason why he got that, Dark Zone G, is because he made that run into the box as well. He didn't make that pass and stand there. He continued his run, which gave that option for Richarlison to be able to dig it out and give it back. So if Højbjerg can do more of that, he will see more goals. So more of that from Pierre-Emile Brickhouse Salzburg, my man. And hopefully tonight against Marseille, we see a bit of that Brickhouse today. Absolutely love it. But, not a great performance from him against Fulham. He was absolutely class. He was everywhere. Big up Højbjerg. And then we've got this from Killian Goobins. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you've got them Budweisers in the fridge. I did remember you like your Bud. He says, Doherty to score finally. The Irish Cafu gets to hopefully show his class in the UEFA Champions League. David, you're a legend, mate. The work you do is inspirational. I love your content. Arsenal fans, fucking cry more. Can't wait. Come on, you Spurs. Look, first of all, for the last part, really appreciate that, man. I mean, look, I've been called a lot worse over the course of my lifetime, so I'll take legend. That's a compliment, my man. Even when I get called other things, I take it as a compliment, to be honest, because I'm usually winding up someone I have no time for anyway. So it's absolutely brilliant. But, I mean, Arsenal fans, they're just going to be... Like, we're watching Champions League tonight, we're all sitting there, pitching tents, really excited, got the cans in the fridge. Everyone's had dinner early today. Everyone be sitting in front of the TV nice and early, I presume most people be sitting there with that bit of classical music in the background, the Champions League theme song, followed by Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur, while Arsenal fans are sitting there working out how to get to Astana FC out the back arse of Kazakhstan. It's absolutely brilliant, my man. What more do we want, lad? It's absolutely brilliant times. Now, in terms of the Irish Cafu, lads, let's get on to talking about this guy for Killian. He absolutely loves him. Now, Conte has been reluctant to play Matt Doherty at the start of this season. Do you think Emerson Doe could be rested for the game at the Etihad at the weekend? And now is the time to give Doherty his chance to see what he can offer. We'll start with you on that, Dermotron.
Oh, Doherty. Oh, what do we say about the man? Look, I probably would. Yeah, I think you're right, Dave. I think it's time to give Emerson a rest. But Lord Jesus, Doherty, the Irish Cafu. So every time he's on the pitch, I get nervous because I know there's a mistake in him as well. I think it's time to give Spence a chance. And
Jedi.
Yeah, give the Jedi Spence. Give him, let him do his Jedi mind tricks on the
It's probably him doing the light show tonight, damn it, with his lightsabers.
Yeah, he'd be out there in the middle of the pitch doing it, showing these Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. But please, Doherty, he hasn't shown us anything. Dave, you may have seen him play for Ireland. He's used to playing for Ireland, and he's used to playing for Tottenham. But I don't know, Killian. I'm sorry. I just hope he never plays for us again. I think he needs to go. And I'm sorry about that. That's just my opinion.
Do you know what,
Sorry.
lad? Doherty is an interesting case, though, to be honest with you, Killian, because Conte did allude to that when he first came here. He basically told Doherty he was not part of his plans whatsoever. Now, when he done that, Conte went away, or not Conte, Doherty went away, worked on his game, and ended up taking his chance when Conte gave it to him. But I question how badly he wants to use him, because pre-season he had the opportunity, and I know he's coming back from a long injury layoff, but you played him at left wing back. If he's coming back from a long injury layoff, why not play him at right wing back pre-season and give him any minutes at right wing back pre-season? Hasn't really, like, everyone keeps calling for the guy to come in, but yet still does not get a game. I mean, Kuva, do you think that Doherty is just being kept around as an option, you know, over the course of this season or even until January? Or do you believe Conte will give him a chance tonight and that he does actually back Matt Doherty?
He's keeping him as an option. Yeah, I mean, you can't think that Doherty's this player we've been waiting for Champions League football. But
you can't believe his luck.
He did do well when he came in after that layoff and worked on his game. And I think Emerson it's funny I'm going to say this, but it's kind of important we keep him for the Man City game, because at least he's got that sort of aggression and athleticism and combative nature that's going to be becoming useful playing at the Etihad. So I think Doherty might get a run out today. I can't see it being Jed Spence purely because of what Conte said. He considers him not ready for this sort of thing. He's not going to throw him in the deep end here, or is he? You never know. I mean, Conte, he's capable of surprising anybody. But yeah, let's see. I've got a feeling Doherty might just start, and we see Emerson rested, because he's played a lot of football. He's always been in that right back. So since Doherty got that injury last season, it's been Emerson every game, hasn't it? So yeah, he's probably is due a rest. In that case, you could see Emerson rested. Maybe Højbjerg as well. Doubt it, but it's maybe, because he's another one that's he's played a lot of football. We'll see. It comes down to careful management, because we just cannot afford to slip up tonight. Makes the rest of the campaigns too difficult.
It just makes it hard. It brings back memories when we're in that group with Monaco, Leverkusen, and I think Moscow or something like that, you know, where we really struggled to get any sort of momentum in that group. And we ended up being dumped out. It was the time we were playing at Wembley. You know, we ended up being dumped out. So, you know, this group can become very, very tricky very, very quickly if we don't get our team selections right. With Emerson, it's an interesting case. I do think Emerson will be playing against Man City for sure. Now, do you give him a rest today, considering he's started every single game for Spurs so far this season, despite many fans calling for him to be dropped? You know, it'd be interesting. I think the reason why Conte continues to pick him is purely because he is better than Doherty defensively, but he also has good link-up play with Kulusevski. We haven't seen that with Matt Doherty. But, you know, I think today, if you're going to rotate any of that back line, you know, I think the wing backs is where you could probably do it. I mean, Pochettino used to do it, you know, when he had Davies and Rose and Walker and Trippier used to rotate them, you know, more or less once a week or every couple of games. So it'll be interesting to see whether Conte adopts that as well. But I actually think you might see Doherty start today, Killian. Big yourself up, my man. Now,
I was going to say just quickly on Doherty, because last season when he did have that little run of form, I think he did link up well with Kulusevski. He also linked up quite well with Sonny when he went to the left. So he's got it in him. It's just you wouldn't trust him to have to do a lot of chasing back and up and down the wing all game long. That's not really part of his makeup, is it? That's why Emerson gets in for the athleticism, really.
And look, Doherty was doing all right going forward for them 6 games, but you know he's been here a lot longer than 6 games, and it's the first time I've really seen it from him. Can he come back and continue where he picked up where he left off? It's going to be a hard ask to do. But even when he was playing well in them games, he was still costing us goals. You know, he cost us against Man United. He cost us a goal against West Ham at one stage as well, where, you know, he just put the ball out for corner where he was not under any pressure whatsoever. So, look, it'll be interesting. But if he gets his chance today, it's on Matt Doherty. If he doesn't take that chance today, he knows his place is under threat with Emerson and Spence. If he doesn't take that, that's all on him, and it's just tough hits at the end of the day. So if he gets the nod, he better take it today. Dermot, did you have anything to say before I move on to talking about
we've had history down the years of starting young players in major European competitions. Steve Perryman back in the early 70s was a young lad when he started in. Over the years, Tony Parks as well, another young goalkeeper in the 84 UEFA Cup final. These young players need to play in these big competitions to gain the experience. And young players have no fear. They won't be going out feeling nervous. They'll be going out thinking, they're 19, 20, we can do this. So I would be happy to see Spence start tonight over Doherty. I think Doherty is a mistake waiting to happen. He may have had a good run at the end of last season, but he's never done it consistently when he was playing. When we're over the Wolves game, he was awful that day. I mean, mind you, they were all awful. But again and again, he's not played well. I think give Spence his chance, put him in there. He may surprise us. He may just well surprise us. And I think what Conte says in the press conference, what he says privately to the teams is probably two different things. Conte could be just winding up the press. So I would start Spence tonight.
I agree with Ella Francis here on Spence Dermo, where they say, I believe Conte will use Spence as a secret weapon in the second part of the season. Once he's ready, in my opinion, once we're predictable, he needs something different. I think that's absolutely spot on. But Conte's already alluded to, that he's doing a lot of work behind the scenes with Jed Spence. There's a coach working with him, and there's a lot to work on. But I'd much rather, if there's no need just to throw him in there now, I'd much rather keep him behind the scenes and let him develop so that nobody's getting on the guy's back. He's only a youngster as well. Let him develop and then put him out there when you think he's ready to give the guy the best chance to succeed when you give him the game time. So I agree, Nella. Absolutely great comment there. Guys, let's move on to the left wing back, Session. Look, many people say he had a good game against Fulham. I thought he had a good game up until the final third, if I'm being honest. Same old problems with Session, in my opinion. Surely Paratici comes back in tonight for his leadership and his vast Champions League experience.
Yeah, I think he does, Dave. I think you've got to play Perisic there. He brings that calmness on the left-hand side, and he can whip a ball in as good as anybody. We've seen that with the goals against Forest. We've seen that in a few games now. I think play him there, and I think that's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer. He starts over Sagerson. Though Sessi did play well, as you're right, the last bit of the game, and he went down holding his hamstring as well. So he may have just tweaked it or he felt something there. So I think for safety reasons and be safe, start Perisic tonight. I think that this is a no-brainer.
Kuva, do you hold Perisic back for Man City, or do you play him tonight and get him bombing down that left-hand side, doing them step overs and whipping beautiful balls into the box?
Play him tonight. Can't afford to muck about on this game. Need to get the job done. I think if we are coasting it 2 or 3-0 up with half an hour to go, could see him coming off then. Keep him fresh for Saturday. Sorry, isn't it? Against City, is it? Or is it?
It's Saturday against City.
Yeah. Okay. We got 5 substitutes. We got the players to rotate. It's not a problem. Just keep careful man management, isn't it? It's just keeping them fresh. If they play part of the game, that's fine. We don't have to rest somebody for an entire game. Do what we used to do with Harry Kane and that when we're playing lesser teams in Europe. Keep them on the bench. Come on if needed. Do the reverse this time, in my opinion. You play your strongest team out to start with. Try and get hold of the game. If all goes to plan, then you can think about resting them early. Bring the likes of Kane off early then as well.
I think you're absolutely spot on. I think you're spot on.
Get the job done, though.
I think you're right. I think you've got to go strongest team. Look to get the game over as quick as you can and then get players off the pitch. A bit like what City done against Sevilla last night. Got the goals and then got the likes of Haaland and that off the pitch for the weekend. I think we've got to do the same. Big up Simon Cohen in the south of France. Hopefully you're enjoying it, my man. Lovely country to be in. Just want to take this comment because it's so far off the mark. I mean, if you're gonna criticize me, at least watch my channel and realize what I have to say. It says democratic socialism in EU made these people so dumb. Wow, I mean, a comment like that, it doesn't say much for your IQ. It says Spence is not in Conte's plans. If you think so, you just have a two-digit IQ. You guys are the ones who complain when we were linked with Richie. Again, I mean, sorry, but you've got to go and do your facts and do your research. I was buzzing when we went for Richarlison because I really like him. He's a player that I've mentioned before. Him, Mitrovic, players that Tottenham should be going for. So, again, if you're going to come in and quote me and have a pop, at least make sure you've watched my content and you get it right. Absolute dumbass. What's your name? Arturo. Absolute dumbass.
I just want to add to that. I don't think you and me or Kuva actually were against Richarlison coming. I've said it in your channel. I've said it on my own channel. I was so excited about Richarlison coming. He's one of my favourite players. So actually get your facts right, mate, before you start saying dumb stuff on putting in as a comment. It's a ridiculous comment. And as for the two-digit IQ, we're here.
That's probably true. I probably do actually have a two-digit IQ, but it's just the second part. I don't mind having a two-digit IQ. It's just the second part. If you're going to quote me, at least quote me right, my man. I mean, that's the problem with the world nowadays. No one gets quoted correctly. Quote me correctly and come back, because I think you'll find that there's a complete different what I said about Richarlison than what you actually think, my man. So I think it's you with the two-digit IQ when you can't even, correlate what I said and respond with it perfectly in the chat to what I said. So, I mean, go back and do your homework. But anyway, guys, we won't let dumbass ruin our day. We'll keep moving on, and we will talk about the midfield. I mean, like I said, Pierre-Emile Brickhouse, Salzburg, and Rodrigo Bentekers is Conte's preferred choice in midfield. Kuva, can these guys compete among Europe's best in the middle of the park? Because a lot of fans, have criticised them this year.
They're going to be coming up short against the very best in the world. But I mean, a lot of teams will be having that problem. I mean, Sevilla got battered by City last night. Sevilla have got a good side. It's going to happen occasionally. We're going to get outplayed. Some players are just simply better than what we have. That is the harsh reality. So it's all about playing collectively well, looking for each other's backs, defending as a unit, attacking as a unit, and just staying vigilant, taking your chances when you can, be professional about it. It's a team sport. When you're the underdog, you really have to pull together as a team. We're not going to be able to rely on just Harry Kane, Heung-min Son to get all the goals at key points and then defend desperately with 8 people. It's going to need more than that. So we'll have to just be on our game. Play it. It's a team game. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Dermot, do you worry about our midfield? Like, even all the choices, Basuma, Skip, do you think maybe coming up against better midfields, like you look at maybe Real Madrid, Cruz, Modric, Tchouameni in there, if we do get out of the group stage and start coming up against these teams, are these two good enough for midfield to compete? Or do you think we'll have to throw an extra body in there?
I think we'll have to throw an extra body in there. I think I've always said that we need a 3-man midfield. Bentancur and Højbjerg have been outstanding, and they really are world-class players, Bentancur especially. But I think if you put Basuma in there against like a Real Madrid, and I think we've got the best 3 midfielders in the Premier League. I've said it already, and I stick by that. Modric last night, what class he was against Celtic, I have to say. He was just, that is a once-in-a-lifetime genius of a player. But we have our 3 players in midfield are as good as anybody in Europe. So stick the 3 of them in there, and I think we have no problems. I really don't.
Yeah, look, do you know what? I think Højbjerg, Salzburg, sorry as Jack pronounces him. I think Jack got a bit excited at the weekend against Fulham, started calling him Salzburg and everything. I actually think he's severely underrated. Bentekers, he's one. If you control the game, he's brilliant. If you don't control the game and it's hard work in there, sort of goes missing. So I think, if you're coming up against the bigger teams, you might have to take Bentancur out and bring in someone like a Basuma and a Skip to match Højbjerg's work rate in terms of trying to win the ball back. But then the problem comes back when you do have the ball, you don't have Bentancur to give it to. So be interested to see how they get on. But you know what? I think they'll stack up just fine. I really do.
Can I just say, Dave, to Ben K's comment, I meant European level, not world class. I'm just getting a bit excited with the game tonight, so I do apologise.
You're allowed to get excited. We're back in the big time, baby. Champions League football back under the lights, wearing the all lily white. You got to get excited, It's back where we belong. We weren't even supposed to be here last season. Arsenal fans got ahead of themselves and everything else. We weren't even supposed to be here. The fact that we're here, just sit back, enjoy the ride. You know, we got a nice favourable group. Let's make sure we get a good start today. But look, fuck it. You're allowed to get high on life. Who cares? Back in the big time. Dark Zone G says, apparently our best 11 for the Champions League game against Leipzig. Our last Champions League game before today, it was the one that we got knocked out right before the world kind of got locked down. Was a 3-4-2-1 with Lloris in goals, Toby, Dyer, and Taganga, Session, Giovanni Lo Celso, Winks, Bobo, Lucas, Coco, Deli. Wow, what a team. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's just giving me nightmares. Absolute nightmares. I mean, that's not even a team. That's how bad teams got. Like, we got to take stock of how bad teams were. We were putting that out in the Champions League game, Coover.
Move on quick.
It's wrong. Wrong on so many levels.
I'm on the special juice already after that now. I just have to knock it back now. That's it. That's turning me to drink, that is.
I mean, it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Like Dyer, Lloris, you know, Session and Lucas are still here, but the rest of that is just absolutely wrong. I mean, no wonder why we went out without any fight whatsoever, you know. Looking at some of the players that played there. That's just, honestly, I've got to move on quickly, Dark Sunji. Now's not the night for that, my man. It's not the night. You know, we're talking about Salzburg. We're talking about Ben Teckers. We're talking about Big H, Sonny, Kulu, Sexy, or Richie. You know, Slick Rick. You know, you're talking about Lenglet, Romero, you know, the best defender in the world. He's our Argentine. I mean, it's so much better place now, Dark Sunji. Big yourself up. And he says, Richie, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Basuma will be up for their first Champions League game in their football career. These players wanted to play Champions League alone at least once in their career. Now is the time. I mean, Kuva, you alluded to that you think Højbjerg, Pierre Salzburg, he might be rested for the trip to the Etihad. Do you think Basuma will start today, or do you think, despite people wanting Basuma, Højbjerg keeps getting thrown out there? He's a player that Conte, you know, he loves him.
Yeah, Højbjerg's got the manager's trust. He's going to play if he's fit. The only reason I think we're going to be doing any sort of rotation is purely down to fitness levels. And we did that against Fulham as well, because we saw Paratici being rested for Sessegnon. Just a complete change. I don't see anything drastic. We might see Richarlison go into for Kulusevski. That might, as it was. But are we gonna risk a Basuma instead of Højbjerg? Actually, sure this is Højbjerg's first Champions League game.
No,
he was at Bayern Munich, wasn't he? He surely played there.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to take any chances. We're going to play a very strong team today. I expect Højbjerg to start. Basuma might come on if we're seeing the game out. Perhaps then we take Højbjerg off again. It's resting in the big names for City, isn't it?
That's what I would do.
Unfortunately, we do have to keep one eye on the game ahead because it's massive.
The fixture schedule coming up is absolutely relentless. I mean, you heard Conte giving out about it yesterday, asking for, you know, Tottenham to lobby to the Premier League for a kinder schedule. So, you know, but I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon. But do you know what? I think you've got to stick with the brick house Salzburg. To me, I think you've got to play him in there. Look, he's integral to what we do. This guy was dropped once under Antonio Conte against Wolves, and we got absolutely slapped up. And since then, hasn't been dropped since. You know, Benteker's played in that game beside Harry Winks that day, and Højbjerg has not been dropped since by Antonio Conte. So if I think that's anything to go by, I think he starts today. I really do. But look, let's move into that forward line, because I mean, I thought it was a bit harsh on Kulusevski, who missed out against Fulham. Very, very harsh, guys. But I mean, we'll start with you on this, Dermot. Richarlison did replace Kulusevski on the right of our attack at the weekend. He did assist Højbjerg's goal and had one ruled out, and also hit the post with unbelievable technique. Yeah. He hit that volley. Do you think he deserves to keep his spot over Kulusevski after his performance versus Fulham?
I do. I think so. I hope to see him tonight because he was brilliant. I was so happy to see him. I think he deserves it. But Kulusevski is a brilliant player anyway. So I can see Kulusevski starting tonight, to be fair. I think Conte rested him on Saturday for a reason. I think he will start. But me personally, I would love to see Richie start again. I think just his enthusiasm, him getting around there and putting himself around, and the shithousery he can bring tonight against a very Marseille side are in a, don't in a great league, to be fair. So we should be beating them tonight. And I think the shit has we bring, I think will be brilliant tonight. And this is the night made for Richarlison anyway. So I hope so. Fingers crossed he starts tonight. Fingers crossed.
I love it. I love it. Everybody keep smashing that like button if you're enjoying this build up to the Champions League. And we'll be here on the build up to every single game this season. So if you enjoy it and you want more people to enjoy it, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. Kuva, is it harsh if Kulu Sexy loses out today, considering he was a massive part of the reason why we got Champions League football in the first place?
It's harsh when anybody misses out from when it comes to those front four for us. They'll all get game time. I'm not worried. They should be looking at it. We've got a campaign here. There's 6. We're going to have 6 group games alone. You don't have to worry about missing out the start of one. They'll all feature at some point. I'm expecting all 4 of them will get some game time tonight. So not an issue, I think. Harsh, nah. It's a squad game. It's a squad game. That's what we were asking for at the start of the season. Now we've got it. Shouldn't be worried about it at all. Shouldn't be worried about players' feelings either. It's just
true.
If they're not performing, drag them off, put on somebody else. That's the way it is. That includes Harry Kane. Although it's most unlikely, that should be an option. If he's having a nightmare, you bring on the other players, don't you? That's what it is. You can't afford to be trailing with 20 minutes to go and somebody's completely misfiring. You need to change something sometimes. So I'm not worried. If it seems harsh, he'll get a chance in another one. No big deal.
Do you know what? I do think it's a little harsh. I thought maybe Son could have been rested before him, but I also do believe you've got to stick with Sonny until he finds his form again. I do think it is harsh on Kulu Sexy, but I was only saying this to Jack the other day. Although he's still playing decent, the end product hasn't been there since maybe Southampton, or I know it just has not been there since Southampton, and that's what made Kulu Sexy so unbelievable when he first came here. And he did get rested against Leicester last season, and he came on and had a phenomenal game and went on to be excellent until the end of the season. So for me, it may be harsh, but I agree. If Richarlison comes in, has the impact he had against Fulham, I mean, that's Kulusevski's problem, you know. With our top club, you can't afford to drop because you will be taken out and other players brought in. So, although I think it's harsh, I do agree with it. And Richarlison came in, took his opportunity. I mean, so what more can the guy do? You know, you've got to keep playing him while the form's high with him, because with Richarlison, when he's feeling good and that, he will score you goals. So I think you've got to stick with him, although being harsh on Kulu Sexy, in my opinion. Dermo, Sonny has struggled for form this season, but is unlikely to be dropped. Why do you think Conte keeps persisting with him despite calls for him to be rested or rotated?
Golden Boot winner, world-class player. He will change a game in a heartbeat. He should have scored Saturday against Fulham, and he was so unlucky. It's like last season with Harry Kane. Everyone was shouting, we need to drop Kane, you need to drop Kane. Well, why? Kane's been our top goal scorer for God knows donkeys of years. You don't drop your world-class players. If you do that, you might as well pack up your stuff and go home. I know no player's bigger than the club, but Son will turn the game with an instant. And once he gets his first goal, he'll go. And I just want to add something, Dave. When I just done a bit of digging when Cooper was putting over his excellent point. During the 60-61, the year we did the double, I can't find for 61-62, we used 17 players to win that double that year. And I bet you there wasn't any complaints then about being dropped or people being rotated.
True.
I know we've got a bigger squad now, and I know football's different now to what it was back in the 60s. But in that, even Liverpool won the league with 14 players in the squad that all played for one another. And this is the thing. I think a player gets dropped and he starts complaining to his agent or to his mates or being dropped. The manager only drops you for 2 things. Either you're playing badly or B, it's tactical. So, sorry, Dorothy, you can wave goodbye. Bye-bye. So I think Kulusevski's got to take it. I need to improve my game or something. I need to prove to Conte he doesn't drop me. As for Son, he is the Golden Boot winner. He can change a game within 2 seconds of a game, so you can't drop him. And I don't. That's my opinion. So,
do you know what? I agree, and I know some people completely disagree with me, which is fine. But I just feel someone that's world class like Sonny, you just don't drop him. You don't rest him. You don't rotate him, especially through bad form. I think you've got to keep putting him out there. I think he will end up paying you back. Like Son had these spells last season, but no one talked about it because he was our most consistent player. Son will pick up form again. It's been proven in years gone by. And hopefully I think it will be today because he did look better against Fulham. What I did like was seeing the confidence back in him, picking up the ball, driving into the box, unleashing shots, making that run in behind where Harry Kane played that exquisite. I mean, it was just perfect timing, ball in behind. Sonny chested it and hit the bar. Unlucky, he would have scored that. Nobody would be sitting here talking about dropping or resting Son. They'd be saying, oh, he's back on form, this, that, and the other. So for me, I think he definitely plays out there tonight. Now, look, I heard a little rumor. I don't know how true it is that Tottenham could potentially be going with the same lineup from the Fulham game. So we'll have to wait and see. But, I mean, Kuva, where it's Sonny, do you think maybe he could be rested for Kulu Sexy if it is harsh on him?
He could be, but I don't see it. I mean, Conte's not blind. He knows that link up between Kane and Son is lethal when that's working.
Yeah.
As Dermot said, he's Sonny's Golden Boot winner. There's no panic as far as I'm concerned. I'm certainly not panicked over his dip in form at the start of the season. He's showing that he's getting in the right positions again against Fulham. He looks like he can score now. Nothing to worry about. Just play it. It will happen. 2 goals tonight. It's happening.
I love that. And do you know what? He was our best player when we got to the Champions League final. He dragged us through a lot of games, Kuva, in 2019.
He did. He's got the experience. He's got the talent. He's got the raw pace. You can't ignore what a potent weapon that is. Sonny's pace. It really does open up teams at times, especially if we're on the back rope for a little bit. We've seen it time and time again. That link-up play, the ball in the Kane, the instant hit into Sonny's path, it's just devastating, that link-up. You don't want to take that out of the team unless you have to, do you? I'm not at all panicked with Son. We might be having an entirely different conversation if we hadn't been doing well point-wise so far in the season. But we are doing well. So let's just wait.
It's good to see Kane and Son starting to get that sort of relationship back because that's also been missing the last while. But against Fulham, Harry Kane on the ball, Son running in behind and finding them and stuff like that. It was good to see that sort of link up starting to come back again. I think we'll see more of that tonight. I think some Heung-min will turn into some young Messi tonight. I think, he also lives for European nights. 2019, that run to the final, he was absolutely exceptional for Tottenham. Pulled us through a lot of games. He was always there because, especially in the knockout stages, because Harry Kane was injured, he really stepped up to the fore. So for me, I think he'll do the same tonight. I think you'll see a complete new Sonny. Son Young Messi tonight. Adrian Chia says, sidetrack, Uber's first day in the job and his boss is sacked. I mean, just stuff seems to follow this guy around like a bad smell, doesn't it, my man? It doesn't matter where he goes, what he does, things just seem to follow him around. Is it the type of person he is? I don't know. I think so. Especially with him being a gooner as well, doesn't help. And Dark Sun G says, this shows how much we've improved since then. Better players, better manager, better fitness, better fight, and a way better team unity than that Dross 11. Do you know what? I fully agree with you, Dark Sun G, but it's not that 11 I'd be comparing us to, because we were absolutely horrific under Jose Mourinho in that competition when he came in halfway through. The group stages and that. But we were absolutely horrific. It's the team that reached the final against Liverpool is the one that I want to compare us to. I know we got a lot of luck along the way, but I agree with you. I think we have a better manager, and I think while I say that, I think in terms of a better in-game management, Pochettino at times, especially in European games, for me, in my opinion, was showing up with maybe some of his in-game substitutions. Now, granted, wasn't helped by not having the strongest of benches. But if I had one criticism of Pochettino, it would be I don't think he knew how to change a game from a bench, where Conte does. I mean, Dermot, do you think that could be a major factor this time round in this Champions League? And the Conte factor, although he doesn't do well in group stages, he's got a good squad and he might be able to change games from the bench, and it might actually help us progress further than what maybe many people think.
I think it does. I mean, Conte's such an intelligent manager. He can see it within 5 minutes. I mean, you look at times in the past where things are not going well. He's not afraid to make a substitution after half an hour, bring a player up, change the formation. So I think it's great. I think that was one of Poch's failings, that he didn't know how to change a game. How great Poch was.
Yeah.
He didn't see the foresight. He didn't have the best team around him to say, hang on, or his assistant, look, we need to change it here. And I think with Conte, he's got the best backup team around him. And Conte's just a god anyway. So, whatever he said. I remember watching Conte. I watched a clip of Conte playing in the old European Cup before he came to Champions League. And his passion then is the same as a manager. I mean, it gets me pumping just seeing doing these cams when they come out on Monday.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him out there conducting the Champions League team song, That's where he'll be. He'll be out there conducting it, soaking it in. Absolutely
He'll be out there with his own lightsaber with Spence.
Yeah, him and Jedi will be conducting the orchestra with the lightsabers for the light show. So I absolutely cannot wait. But Dark Song G, it remains to be seen. We will get on and talk about Conte's record in Europe in just a minute. It is not the best, which I will add. But look, in terms of better fitness, I don't know. I think we're getting back to where, look, we're under Pochettino, we're supremely fitter than anybody else around. So that's why we're able to steamroll them. Under Conte, there's no doubt we're extremely fit, but I don't think the way we play, we use our fitness to the best of our ability. Under Pochettino, we could press, punt the ball back, and outplay teams and last till the end of 90 minutes. Under Conte, hopefully now it's a bit different with Langley and Romero in, but we tend to kind of sit back into shape. Hopefully now with Langley and Romero, we don't need to protect that back line. And you might be able to see us to use our fitness a bit more and actually start to press teams, Dark Song G. But big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate support. He also says, I didn't know Pierre-Emile Højbjerg played Champions League with Bayern. I knew that he came from Bayern to Southampton. Then our midfield pair, Bentancur and Højbjerg, has Champions League experience. It's great. I mean, Kuva, it's a good point here by Dark Song G with the likes of Bentancur and Højbjerg having the Champions League experience. Do you think that'll stand to us in this group stage?
Yeah, especially with them being in the centre of the park, you need some calm heads there. When it might get a bit frantic, you need somebody who can put their foot on the ball, just take control, or set the tempo of the game like Modric always did for us, and has done so blindingly well for Madrid. We're looking at Bentancur to do that, while Højbjerg does the sort of unsavoury parts of the game. But what I've been impressed with this season is Højbjerg's been picking the passes as well. He's become a better all-round player this season, in my opinion, because I used to question him constantly. I didn't think he was good enough. He's stepping up a bit this season. Definitely marked improvement. And I think this is the sort of night where you want to see it come to fruition, isn't it? You want to see that pairing in particular make the mark on the game, dominate it. Don't give them any time on the ball. Let's see Højbjerg doing what he does best, being an absolute pest to the opposition, getting his foot in everywhere and disrupting their play. And Bentancur to just get some time on the ball, pick them passes out and get the team going. We look so much better when that works. And as we've discussed before, David, and it comes back to that defence. When the defence is right, it gives time to those midfielders. They've got a bit of time on the ball. You're not tied up in defensive covering duties constantly. I think it was criminal watching Bentancur having to go back constantly trying to make tackles because nothing was happening behind him. Let's see him on the ball, not chasing around. It doesn't suit Bentancur at all.
No.
So I'm all for it. We'll just get a bit more possession than we usually do. That's the key. We've got to work on getting a little bit more than these sort of low 40s, high 30% possessions, especially at home. We won't be taking the game to them. I think Højbjerg can do that. I think he is starting to show signs that he's driving the team forward from midfield. And I think with that strength in defence of Langley, Romero, allows Højbjerg to make a few more of those raiding runs forward. He looks so much better when he can do that, when he's not tied up in all the defensive duty. I know people in the past said you want Højbjerg when your back's against the wall. I think that's probably, I'll probably go with the opposite. I think you want a Basuma then, because you want that extra strength and the fact you can't be pressed at the back. Højbjerg to sort of prompt things going forward. He's not the most talented when he's going forward, but he can pick a pass, and he does make things happen, and he's getting a couple of the goals here and there. So let's go with the Moondog bet for Højbjerg to score as well, shall we? That takes it up to 6-2 for my prediction.
I love that. But Kuva, you speak about Højbjerg improving his game from maybe being that ball winner that we all love to maybe now being able to do a bit more in terms of the passing department and helping Bentancur out there. Do you think likewise Bentancur can improve his game to help Højbjerg back with the sort of ball winning ability? Because we all know he's exceptional in the passing department.
I look at Bentancur as a little bit more of a ball player, more of a kind of more of a Jorginho sort of role that he does for Chelsea. And I'm not looking at really his tackling ability. If it comes down to that, we're in trouble. He can stick his foot in, certainly. He's capable of it. But you've got to look to him to control. I think now Michael Carrick, that's a much better example to use, isn't it? Be our Michael Carrick, set the tempo of the game. Doesn't have to be aggressive, doesn't have to be this ball-winning player there. Just be in the right place, receive the ball from the defence, use it well, use it swiftly, get the attacks moving. It's important to get the tempo right tonight, get some excitement in the crowd. Crowd will feed the team then with the tenfold with the excitement coming back. We'll be better for it. I think Bentancur plays a big role tonight. I'm expecting Højbjerg to play possibly lesser of a role, more of the holding type donkey work. But it allows Bentancur to flourish. That's ideally what we're going to see.
Be interesting to see with the step up in competition. Who's more suited to the Champions League, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg or Bentancur? Be very interesting to see today, but absolutely spot on with your analysis there, Kuva. Absolutely spot on, man. Big up the lad. Hope you're keeping well. Hopefully now you can sit there stress-free tonight. It says 3 ex-Gooners plus Dimitri Payet playing for them should hammer these tonight. But look, lad, let me get back up to that question. That was one of my questions today. So, I mean, we'll start with you on this again, Kuva, and we'll go back to Dermo. We might as well go ahead and ask it. The lad alluded to it. With all the former Gooners in the Marseille side, Said, Kolasinac, Nuno Tavares, Matteo Guendouzi, and Alexis Sanchez, who is actually out today. Could this end up being a bit of a spicy match with a few scuffles, a bit of needle to it?
Definitely. This always happens, doesn't it? It's like an ex-player coming back wants to put one past you. So there will be that. There's a tribalism element to football. There always has been, always will be. So, yeah, of course they'd want to put something past us. But I think Alexis Sanchez is out, isn't he? So's Payet, I believe.
Payet, I think it's a late call on him. I think you might see him in and around the squad.
That's a pity because he's capable of coming out with something special, as we've seen. Of course you worry about it. It's just typical. It's sod's law that these players you dismiss and then wave goodbye to them. They come back later to haunt them. Let's not have that tonight, though. Perhaps if he's going to do anything, let him score a worldie of a free kick or something like that, so he can appreciate it while they're getting battered by the lads. 6-2.
100%. Look, for me, what I do with that side, Kolasinac, I mean, just run him ragged. He's absolutely shit. He turns like he's a fucking on a roundabout. He's a disaster. Nuno Tavares, if he was that good, Arsenal wouldn't have to loan him out. He couldn't even get into an Arsenal team that finished 5th. So maybe he's not that good. And look, Matteo Guendouzi, he's a brave man having hair like that when Romero's out on the football pitch. Let's not forget what he done to Cucurella. Similar sort of hairstyle, you might just see him pull back line on the ground, roll around crying like a little baby bitch. I cannot wait to see it. Romero is honestly, Romero loves her. He's probably collecting it for his wife or to make a wig for somebody. You know what I mean? He absolutely loves it. So that I wouldn't worry about that. But big up you, Ma, and Sinead. Welcome back home. It's good to have you back home as well. Big yourself up. Sit back and enjoy the match here. You're well deserved. Well deserved. We take a couple more comments here, a couple more super chats, and I've got some more questions before we end off. George GP says the fact that we even have the luxury to think about dropping Sonny speaks volumes of our growth. Nonetheless, him and Kane should be borderline undroppable. I agree. I agree. I mean, there is just certain players in the world that you just are undroppable, in my opinion. You know, and that's the way it is. It's just the way football goes at times. Look, I know some people don't agree with it, but it's the way football is. Big up Georgie. Sean Maddox says, would you guys start with Richarlison? And if so, yes, who would you bench? My man, I think we all came to an unanimous decision on that. I think we said we probably would start him and keep Kulu sexy on the bench. So the same front three that happened against Fulham, my man. Big yourself up. Daxon G says it's so much better to have a headache deciding between Kulu and Richie instead of Kulu and Stevie and Lucas. Richie and Kulu are needed for the Champions League. This is why Paratici is a don. He brought Richarlison. It was great rotation. I will start with you on this, Dermot, and then we'll get to Kuvi. He's nodding his head. He likes this one. This one's tasty.
Yeah, I mean, look, Paratici is a don. He just brought the best players to the best team in the world. And Dong Sanji is right. You know, if you had Stevie or Lucas on the bench, you'd be scratching your head a bit thinking, can we change it? But you got Richie or Cooling, you think that they can change it. So, the Don's a Don, isn't he? He's knocked down the house Hitchin built. He's rebuilding a mansion. He's rebuilding everything with gold, everything, and pictures of Bill Nick everywhere, and the spirits there, and he knows, right, I'm bringing the Glory Knights back to Tottenham. Yeah, I think Kulu or Richie, we're blessed. We're really blessed, but I agree with that 1,000%.
It's not even that. Even look back further in midfield, Basuma, Skip. Look, maybe defence is where that kind of competition stops. That's where you stop talking about, the likes of Sanchez, Davies, and Doherty, coming back in. But Cooper, what do you want to say, Dark Sunji? You're nodding your head as soon as you see it. I
was nodding my head to the first part of it, not to the last part. Yeah, of course, it's great to have a headache deciding between Kulu and Richarlison, and even between Richarlison and Sonny, or even dreading dreading tempting fate and saying Kane. You could even have a game without Kane playing. Richarlison and the other two in, no problem. We've got options there. I don't believe Paratici is the Don yet. I've always been clear on this. I'm going to judge him in 2-3 years' time when we've seen a bit of what he can do over a long period of time. I think that's the only fair way. But some of the signings can't argue with. I always liked Richarlison as a signing. I did want him. I wanted us to get Jesus as well.
Are you sure, though, Cooper? That guy earlier on was saying you didn't. Are you sure?
Well, to be fair, we can't be sure if he's talking to us or other people in the chat, can we? I certainly wanted Richarlison. It's Bob Spur's bestie, isn't it? He's got to be a couple of Spurs. So, I think that is a great signing, though. Genuine rotation possibilities. Also, the possibility of playing him and Kane up front together as a duo and playing Kulusevski and Sonny at the same time. If we have to go for it, as we've done against Chelsea, just go to a 4-2-4 or something. It's a frightening prospect, somebody trying to stop us when you got that amount of quality in the forward line. So, it's a great signing. I'm going to go easy on Paratici, though. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good yet. There's promising things being done, man.
So I take it from that, Kuvi, you're sort of in the middle then. You're sort of on borderline then, yeah?
Yeah, I haven't seen him for long enough. He's only been here for 5 minutes, hasn't he?
Well, we'll take you out to dinner with him. Within half an hour, he changed your mind.
Do you know what, though? I agree with Dark Sun G here and what you guys were saying as well about, having that headache. And it's a good headache to have, The fact that you're not sitting there relying on players that you've had here for years, knowing they very rarely change games off the benches, to having a guy that is hungry. He wants to be here. He wants to change the game. He wants to take every minute given it to him. And that says an awful lot. And that's why you're seeing what we're seeing with some of these guys coming off the bench over the last few games. But not only that, you look into the midfield, You're not sitting there looking at the bench and going, oh, Macho or Michael Craig. And I know it's not their fault, so I'm not having a pop at them, but they should be nowhere near the bench in a Premier League game at their age. Nowhere near it. The fact that you now look at it and you go, oh, I think we'll have Bamusa or else we'll have Big Ollie Skip. Throw them out there, get them on, a bit more energy introduced. For me, I'm absolutely loving it. Now, look, we've got a lot more work to do, and so does Don Paratici. But, Dark Sun G, Can you smell what the dawn is cooking, my man? Look, I know people have their reservations over the window. I'm still not happy about us not bringing in more in that back line. But at the end of the day, the work this guy has done since he's come here is undeniable. Pull us from Europa Conference League with his business and getting in Conte to Champions League. But we've been here before. It's what happens now. We're back here. Do we kick on? Do we keep bringing in players that are good enough quality to beat Tottenham, or do we rest on our laurels? That's why January and next summer are going to be so important, especially since Conte said another 2 windows. So them next 2 windows are really, really important. But so far, Don Paratici, so good, my man. Look, Kuva will say it with me one day. Well, we'll get that, Dark Sun G. He'll sit here and he'll say it one day. Perhaps if we win the Champions League or the Premier League, Kuva will give me a big, can you spare? That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But big yourself up, Dark Sun G, my man. Really appreciate the support. And then we've got Moondog. Says, Dark Sun G must be a billionaire. Please buy Spurs, lad. Big up, mate. I think there's plenty of people that want you to buy Spurs, to be fair, Dark Sun G. I think if not, we'll find someone decent to go in on it with you, and then we can all have our say through you, Dark Sun G. That'd be amazing.
We'll have a whip round, shall we?
Yeah.
Owned by the fans. Do it German style.
Yeah, where you get your, 51% or 49% or something, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's good. Or 51%. It's majority owned. Fans have a lot of say. But big up, Moondog, brother. Really, really appreciate support. Maybe we can get a campaign together for Dark Sun G to put the money together to hopefully go and buy Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Kuva, I do want to say to you, look, Igor Tudor, Marseille's manager, ex-Croatian guy, used to play for Juventus back in the day, actually. He managed Udinese. He's been an assistant at Juve and was hired by Marseille after his successful season with Verona. Do you think this guy, because of his previous experience in Italy, he'll actually be well-versed on Conte's tactics than the rest of our opponents in the group?
Yeah, we're talking about a team going into the Champions League. They'll have done their homework. They'll know about how we play. They'll know about how Conte plays. They'll have had studied videos on all of our players. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't an amateur sport here. We're talking about clubs playing at the peak of professional football. They're prepared. We're prepared too. So let's not get into any sort of unnecessary spat of delusion, except for obviously the score, which it's going to be 6-2. No,
cool. Let me ask you this though: they do line up very similar to us with a 3-4-3. Could this game actually be a lot tougher for us than what people think, considering they'll be going man for man?
Yeah, of course it could. They're no mugs, definitely. They're quite solid. They're quite consistent. All the logic points to it being a very tight game. But I just think we're due one of those crazy games. I think we've been due it for a few weeks. But so that's what I think. I think it's going to come into the occasion. It's going to be the crowd. It's going to be the atmosphere. Champions League night. I still want to call it White Hart Lane. It's always going to be White Hart Lane to me. I think that's just going to make all the difference. We might see something like a close game at half time. Then we'll, I'm backing on the likes of Sonny, finding his scoring boots again, putting into a couple of clinical finishes. We just start pulling away. Harry Kane then puts the glosser paint on at the end. I think we could pull away with a scoreline that maybe even flatters us a little bit. But I think it's all going to be down to the crowd, the occasion, and just taking the game to them. It's a great night. I just can't wait for it. It's so pumped up for it. I'm sure the players are. I'm sure Conte's got the plan in place. Let's have it.
I'm actually getting super excited. I mean, we're just over 2 hours from kickoff, but all white, lily white, under the lights at Champagne Lane. I mean, I absolutely cannot wait to see us looking saucy tonight. Not only will the haircuts be tight, the kit's going to be looking crisp, and the football's going to be looking even sexier. I just have a good feeling about tonight, and I know you've got to respect Marseille. Well, actually, you don't, because their fans will never respect us, so you don't actually have to. And you'll watch, you know what I mean, when fans end up going out there and see the respect you get shown off them. So we don't actually have to respect them. But I've got a good feeling about tonight. I really do. I just think so many of our players have been waiting to return to the big time. all white, under the lights. The fans are going to be at it. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely cracking. Just got a good feeling that we're going to rise to it tonight. I really do. I'm going to keep my score prediction back. I will keep it back, but I do think we'll rise to it. And look, I'll be honest, they can go 3-4-3. They can, match up. I do not care. I think we'll have enough to beat them at the end of the day. I think we've got more than enough going forward to pull them apart. And I've got good encouragement from the chances we created against Fulham. Now, where we do end up giving ourselves problems, if you put Sanchez back in there, if you put Davies back in there, I think you're going to see us play a completely different style of football. I think we'll end up causing ourselves our own problems. In the Champions League, you've got to have your ball players out there. And they're not only ball players at the back line, Romero and Langley, but they can defend, and they've shown that. Langley was superb against Fulham. Romero's shown that since we got here, like Kuva alluded to. One of his favourite signings in such a long time. So for me, I think we just don't make any trouble for ourselves that we don't need to do by bringing back in these guys and resting guys from Man City. Take this game tonight and let's show them some champagne football, because that's what it is about at the end of the day. Now, Dermot, I did say earlier on we have back-to-back away matches against Sporting Lisbon and Frankfurt after the clash with Marseille tonight. How important is it that we start off with 3 points so we're not playing catch-up in the group?
It is important. You've always got to win your home games. I mean, if you're playing away at home, the idea is get 3 points at home, and if you're going to do anything, grab at least a point from away. I think that's always been sort of the attitude. It's important that we win at home, get 3 points tonight. Let's start it on the best foot possible. And I'm sure, the all-white kit for me just makes it special under the lights. I'm with Kuva. I miss the old White Hart Lane. Kuva will know as well as you, Dave. European nights at White Hart Lane was something special. It had its own unique atmosphere. Let's try to recreate that tonight. I would love it called the Bill Nicholson Stadium after the great Bill Nick, and just let's get 3 points tonight. Let's kick off on a good start on our European journey. 3 points, and let's bring the cup home. Let's bring the European Cup back to White Hart Lane.
100%. Joseph, he disagrees with us here on Kane and Son. He's big up Dave and panel. Just catching up. I have to disagree on dropping Son/Kane. What is the point of a squad or buying Richarlison if the front three are not going to get dropped if in bad form? Now, look, I'll have a quick say and I'll pass it over, but I get what you're saying. But the point of having Richarlison is so that we're not having to put Harry Kane out in League Cup games, FA Cup games. For example, last season, Europa Conference League games. That's the point of having someone like Richarlison there. So he fills in for them games. So you have a fresh Harry Kane for the games that matter. Same with Sonny, in them games, he can also be rested. Before we've tried, but we have to bring these guys off the bench, or they have to start because everyone else around them is being an absolute loser shithead and he's not performing. So I think that's the benefit of having these guys, that when because you have to remember, look at the results we've suffered down the years. Colchester League Cup, Zagreb European night, Europa League, Enes Moura and Vitesse in the Europa League, and there's been more. There's been more of the games that I don't have. Middlesbrough last season, because we're having to put these players out there, they're exhausted come some of these games. So the whole idea of having these players there is that you can put them out there and you can say to Harry Kane, take the night off, sit at home with the missus and the kids, enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Have a kebab or whatever. That's the whole point of bringing these players in. And rotation will happen. There will be games, where Kane and Son can get rested, but not these sort of games. Why would you rest Harry Kane when the guy wanted to leave? Because he wanted to play Champions League football. It makes no sense not to play him tonight. It really doesn't. I get what you're saying, but also the point of having these guys is if that we do suffer an injury to Kane or Son, that we're not feeling the impact of it, or as much as you'll always feel some impact, but not feeling as much of a hit if these guys get injured and not playing, that we have better quality there to be able to step in for these guys. It's all about assisting these guys rather than, dropping them and resting them. It's all about assisting them, in my opinion. Kuva, Dermot, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I agree with you, Dave. Dropping Kane or Son for a big game, I think that they are undroppable. But that's why you bring squad players in. That's why you do a good squad for these games. You were mentioning the games in you're mentioning games, and Kuva had his hand over his ears. It was giving me the twitch as well. I started twitching.
I didn't want to
hear it, but it's true. We did. That's what you have squads for. So you play your best players for the best games, and for the lesser games, you let them rest, and you bring in the players who are capable of doing the job. That's been our problem over the years. We haven't had players who didn't care, who couldn't do the job, and they didn't care. We've got players now who care about the badge on the shirt, who care about the fans, who care about Tottenham Hotspur, and that's the difference between then and now. And that's how I feel on it.
Kuva, I mean, you anything you want to say, or do you think you pretty much covered it?
Pretty much covered it. I mean, on previous shows saying about there's no need to panic about these things. It will happen naturally. Squad will get rotated. These players will get rotated. And it's down to Conte. He'll have a good feel about the fatigue levels of the players and also who's not looking sharp in training. He's going to want to win games at the end of the day. He will use every tool at his disposal. And that includes changing the players around when needed. If they're fresh and fighting fit and look good in training, no need to change it either. So fair play each game as it comes.
Big up, Joseph. Good comment, my man. And everybody, don't ever be afraid to challenge what we say. Where we can, we'll bring in the comments and try and communicate with you as much as we can, guys, because that's what I want to do at the end of the day. And, I want to get back to doing that more if we can. So keep getting your comments in, guys. Adam Prior says, can anybody tell me what group, Champions League group Arsenal are in? I'm having trouble finding. I mean, man, I've been on the lookout all day. I think you've got to go to, I believe it starts with the Europa League. Europa Conference League, I believe it's called. I think that's where you have to go to find them. To be honest with you, my man. Look, champions, they haven't been able to say that since fucking Arsene Wenger, back in the early 2000s when I was just coming out of nappies into underpants. So, I mean, honestly, they're so relevant. It's unbelievable. But it's great watching them at home crying, it really is. They're going to be at home tucked in bed, missus or the mother's going to what's wrong with you? It's like, oh, Tottenham are playing tonight in the Champions League. I mean, it's great. It's absolutely great. I can't wait to see them squirm, cry. They're just so jealous, Adam. So jealous. Big yourself up, my man. Absolutely love that. But look, I don't want to do it, but let's get on to talking about Conte's previous record in Europe. So during Conte's 5 previous seasons in the Champions League, he's only made it out of the group stage on 2 occasions, and the furthest he's gone in the tournament was a quarter-final appearance with Juventus in 2013. Kuva, are you concerned by Conte's poor record in Europe? Does it concern you?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, you can't ignore those sort of facts, can you? Conte is known for specialising in the league. At the end of the day, I think he views the other competitions as a secondary thing because that is how you prove yourself in the country you're applying your trade, is be top of the pile in the league. If he can win us the league and we have to sacrifice cups doing it, I'll be okay with that. But it's a tall ask either way. So let's put it this way: all records are there to be broken, aren't they? Conte's got a poor record in the Champions League. Let's see that turn around this season. Why not? Get comfortably out of the group stage. If we do that, it doesn't matter after that. It's all knockout competition. You're going to be playing top teams no matter what. No shame in losing any game from then on. We'll just get out of this group stage, and we've done the first task. See how it goes with the rest of it. Just don't know what's going to happen. Could get a lucky draw. Could get drawn against big teams with an injury crisis. Who knows? Just get ourselves in the ring, and it's a bit of lady luck.
Do you know what? I am concerned slightly, and it does concern me that his points in general seem to drop off when he has less days to prepare. And we know how heavy this fixture schedule is. It concerns me a little, but if it's all down to the players' mentality. Are they going to find it grueling where they don't want to be there, like Europa Conference League, Europa League, and then it has a knock-on effect in some league games? Or are they going to just be excited, happy to be in the Champions League, realizing that, hang on, there is a potential to do something special here with the World Cup thrown in the middle of the year. Absolutely anything can happen. How hungry are you for trophies? And if you have that mindset, you will enjoy every single minute of the grueling campaign. And that way, I think we'll break Conte's stock as well, in my opinion. So, look, I think it does come down to the players' mindset. I really do. I think it comes down to their hunger and desire rather than not looking forward to them like they were on the previous years. Hope they're looking forward to it and they realise, the big stage is where we do want to be. And they've had no better reminder than the last couple of years. So if the mentality is not at that level, then we need to do more work in the transfer market until it is at that level, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my answer. But big up. I mean, as well, Arsenal fans, can you let me know how Roy Cropper gets on in his chess game tonight in Coronation Street? I don't have time to watch it. Honestly, I'm so busy watching Champions League. So if you just let me know whether Roy Cropper wins the chess match, that will be absolutely unbelievable.
That's a bit unfair, David. It's really hard to view the screen when your eyes are that watery, isn't it?
They'll have to do it called Coover.
Have you seen double pawns, double kings and queens and everything, double Roy Croppers? Oh, I love it. Love it. Honestly, Kleenex should sponsor them this season. They'd make an absolute fortune, so they would. So get Kleenex on the go. Everybody, hashtag Kleenex on Twitter. Arsenal are looking for a sponsor. Dermo, I did allude to earlier that we have actually come and stuck in Europe on a number of occasions in Europe. Before NS Mora, Vitesse, Zagreb, and the Champions League group, where we were favourites before that consisted of Monaco, Leverkusen, and Moscow, and we didn't get out. How important will mentality be tonight? And will this be a good test to see if we have improved in that sort of aspect?
I think it will be a good test. I think it will show us how far we have come from last season and the times under Nuno, them disastrous games we played in Europe. But look, I have no fear we won't get out of this group. I think we will get out of this group. I think we will win the group. And I think Conte will not expect anything less. He'll have a target, what he wants the team to do in this group, and he'll want the team to match that target. Look, you can look back and then games and they were painful, they were horrible, we were angry, we were upset. But this is the start of a new era. The Champions League is tonight. We have to start how we mean to go on. And I think we will. And Conte will be reminding them of that. Conte will be saying to them, look, this is a big night for us. We worked hard. We weren't really supposed to get here, but we got there by hook or by crook. Tonight, we have to prove we belong here. And I think we do belong in the Champions League. So I was going to call it the European Cup. We do belong in the Champions League. And he will have that impressed on the players' mind, brain, body, everything. So I think we need to look at them as learning experiences of what not to do and go out tonight and play to the best of our ability and play with freedom and win.
But you know what? For me, I don't think there's any excuses tonight. Look, against Zagreb, we went out there, we thought the job was done, and we played basically a B team. Players that let us down. NS Mora, we played a lot of players that didn't want to be there. Same as Vitesse. And in fact, we even heard excuses about the atmosphere, the pitch. I mean, both for same teams, but it's an excuse for us. Even that Champions League group stage, I remember it very well. We were all thinking, oh, nice one, happy. Avoided a lot of danger here. Should be top of the group. But because we were playing it in different stadiums, the team couldn't handle it. And when things are not right at Tottenham, we can never find enough to get over or through these sort of games. We always end up being embarrassed. So the mentality's got to be strong tonight. Everything is in place. They've got the wages they want. They've got the best training complex. They're playing at home in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They've got an elite manager. They've got elite players out there as well. So there's no excuses to see any of these results happening over the course of this group stage. None whatsoever. The mentality's got to be spot on. And they've got to believe they're the best as well. I mean, Kuva, anything you want to say before we let you guys give your score predictions and plug the channels?
It's all about enjoying it, seizing the moment. Carpe diem, isn't it? We worked so hard to get to this position. No point throwing it away, being shy, but being nervous. What are we? Fighting cockerel. That's the spirit. Chest out. Take what's coming and make a big fight of it. Get the crowd going. Enjoy the occasion. Enjoy the moment. Champions League football. This is why we compete so hard in the league. Get these moments where you aiming for a trophy. Probably too much for us to expect Champions League this year, but see how far we can get. It's a test, isn't it? It's a test of the players, and they've earned their little run. So let's be having it. Get out of this group stage. Everything's possible. Then you could have craziness happen after that. We've already seen what it's like against Ajax. against City as well in the Champions League. We had a mad run there where we weren't really playing all that well.
Yeah.
We were just getting away with some stuff, but it can happen. If throw in a few good performances and get another run like that, why not? Dream. It's what football's all about, isn't it? Realise your dreams.
Could not agree more. No one's in here taking away my Champions League dream until it's not possible anymore. So don't come in and try and take it away from me. But you know what, guys? On my score prediction tonight, I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to go Sonny with 1, and I think Kane will score a brace. And the reason why I say that, Harry Kane absolutely thrives on European nights. He's got an outstanding record in the Champions League as well. He's been directly involved in 23 games, and 23 goals. So that's 20 goals plus 3 assists in his 24 appearances in the Champions League. And I think it's only Haaland, Messi, and Gomez that have got there quicker than him as well in terms of minutes played. So for me, I think Kane, he's going to be absolutely up for it. You've heard the words all before the game. You know, he's been moaning and crying that this is where he wants to get back. I think we're going to see something special from this guy today. Plus, he's evolved these games since last time we were in the Champions League. The guy can drop deep, create, spray balls around, and he's scoring goals as well this early, which we're not used to. So I think we'll see something special from Kane and Son tonight. I think we'll get back to the Kane and Son show. So I'm going 3-0. Dermot, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to go for 2-0. I'm going to go for Kane and Son. I just want to add something on this, Dave. 60 years ago, in May 23, we were the first English club to win a European trophy. Let's match that now with this Champions League. In May 2023, becoming the first team to win all 3 trophies at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's collect the set. But I'm going for 2-0, Kane and Richarlison.
Absolutely love that, Dermot. Absolutely love it, my man. And look, while we have you here, why don't you plug your channel, man? Tell people what's coming up.
Yeah, on THFC Till I Die, we've got a watch along tonight for the big European game. Won't be like Dave's, proper and professional watch along. We just do it a little bit funnier and just do little quizzes. And then we've got the pre-match. Then we've got the post-match show tomorrow. Then the pre-match for the Man City game, and then we've got me and Ellie's second part of the history of Tottenham Hotspur, and we've got the King, the Queen, and the Godfather, where me, Ellie, and Philip Brady, the Godfather, will talk about Tottenham through the years, about our history and our remembrance, and we've got loads of things coming up. So, yeah, hit like and subscribe on THFC. I really would appreciate it, but do it here first because these guys deserve it.
Appreciate that, my man. They're on the big push for 700, so everybody do get over. Link is here in the chat. Get over, check out THFC Till I Die, and smash that subscribe button. Kuva, my man, what's your score prediction, and what channel are we plugging up today?
5-2 Spurs, because it makes no sense. Should be a close game. I just don't think it's going to be. I think with all those things that haven't been going our way, Sonny missing chances, he usually scores. I just think we're due to see all that happening. If it all happens tonight in one go, I agree with you, Dave, about Harry Kane European games. Awesome. I think we just got goals in us tonight. I think Marseille will be in there, in with a couple of goals as well. Bit of a carnival atmosphere. I think it's just going to be an all-round good night. I've just got this gut feeling. No logic in the scoreline. Just that we're due it, and I feel like we should have it. 5-2, and where can you find me? I'll be on Shelfside Spurs tomorrow evening. I think they start about 9ish, something like that. After that, it will be 3 Spurs boys on the Sunday. I'll be with Bobby K, and of course the big one on Saturday is the return of In the Wall, Bob Spur TV, and all the crazy stuff that usually happens there.
Love it. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm not going to get all them channels, but I'll put Southside Spurs in, and then tomorrow you can do Bob,
exactly.
And Bob's, you can do the 3 Spurs boys. But guys, check out all the channels that Kuva mentioned there, guys, and get over and smash the subscribe. That's Bob Spur TV, Southside Spurs, which is here, and then the 3 Spurs boys. 3 Spurs boys, not boys. 3 Spurs boys. It's not a human trafficking thing we're running here. So it's not the 3 Spurs boys. It's 3 Spurs boys. Eddie Patterson says you're 100% right. Full attack, fight, attack, defend, like demons. Never give up. Come on, you Spurs. But guys, before you head out, please smash that like button. Nearly at 200 likes, about 25 off. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. And make sure you tune back in here at 7:30 for the watch along with myself and Jacko. Back under the lights where we belong in fucking big time. You know, everybody sit back now. We'll listen to the Champions League music on full volume. Just let it take over you. Whatever happens, happens. If it makes you scream, scream. If it makes you, excited, do whatever you need to do. But give it a listen and get pumped up for this game. Get the beers in the fridge and get ready for Harry Kane to show you why he's one of the best around Europe. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte, we trust.
Come
on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Lily Whites.
See you all back here at 7:30. Let's go.